Yeah, she said, I don't feel comfortable waiting, so we need to do a C-section. And at this point, I'm like, wow, like in shock. Like, how do we get here? I was progressing. Well, I wasn't progressing like once I got to the hospital, which I think is not a coincidence. But I was just like, how do we get here? You know, she was like, we need to do C-section. And she was like in a hurry to do this C-section. I was like, okay, well, when do you want to do it? She was like, we can get you set up right now and get it pretty much before end of shift. And I was like, huh? So it's 5 o'clock. I think she clocked out at 6. So she was trying to get everything done so fast. And so she told us, she broke us the news, and she was like, well, how do you feel? I was like, what do you mean how I feel? You just told me I have no other option. So at this point, I'm in tears. Like, I am crying. I'm just like telling Meyer, like, how did we get here? Like, how did we get here? What the heck happened? And I'm crying, and I was just there walking around prepping me for the C-section, and I'm just like, I don't know. I told you, I was like, this is it. Like, this is the last baby that I can have. I can't go through this anymore. And I remember just saying, like, God, like, you left us. Like, you did not hear my cry. You did not hear my prayer. Like, I cannot believe this. And all these things were just flooding in. But at the same time, I'm just praying, like, God, let something happen. Like, just let something happen. And I was asking Trinity to come. And I was just like, I don't know. What were you thinking in that moment? Like,
oh no, I was just singing a song in my head. What?
Oh, okay.
Give me faith.
Oh, okay.
About elevation.
Yeah, so I think we're both just kind of in our own zone. Like, just like, not knowing. It's like in between hope and disappointment. Like, that weird space between there. And so, they're prepping us for a C-section. Everything was so sloppy. Like, they were trying to get me ready for that, like, trying to put the epidural in me. They couldn't do it. Like, for whatever reason, anesthesia. She was having such a hard time. And, they were like, I think they were short staffed. It was a lot going on. They couldn't find somebody. The tools they needed, they couldn't find. They were like, oh, go get this. They're like, oh, we're out of that. Like, mind you, this is a big hospital. We're not in a small city. Like, we're in Fort Worth, Texas. Like, it's a big city. And so, a bigger city. And so everything was just so sloppy, and they didn't have time. They're prepping me, you know, like they clean you, shave you, get your stuff ready, put your legs, and they were putting my legs in the little, whatever those are, whatever they do for a C-section. They put the thing on my head. They're literally prepping me for a C-section. And the whole time I'm just crying. And, like, the midwife is like, no mercy. She doesn't even care. Like, we're crying. We're sad. Like, the nurses are, like, sad. Because, you know, I wanted so bad to have a VBAC after 2 C-sections. And, like, yeah. So they're prepping me. And I'm feeling so much pressure. Like, so much pressure. I was like, I really have to poop. But I had told her that before when she texted me. Because I was feeling that pressure then. But she was like, no change. So at this point, she's not trying to check me. I was like, literally, I feel like I have to poop. Like, I feel like I'm having this baby. And so I start to pray that this is what I think is happening. Even though I had lost hope, I had, like, a little. So now I understand the verse that says, like, faith the size of, like, must see. Now, at first I didn't understand how someone can, are they really having faith? They only have a little bit. But I get it now. I think for the first time ever, I get that. And so I was just, like, sitting there and, just like, I'm in pain. I said, can y'all check me, please? So they're like, yeah, we'll check you, but they're still just running around like chickens with their head cut off, getting ready for surgery. And so they're like, yeah, we'll check you. So I asked, and then finally Myra's like, are y'all gonna check her, right? Like, you told them, like, are y'all gonna check her like you said you would, you know? Like, they're like, oh yeah, like, the midwife will check her when she comes in. So they're still getting me ready for surgery. Sloppy and everything. They can't do anything. Like, they can't find anything. So that's actually giving us more time. That's what we realize now. And so the midwife comes in and they're like, okay, you know, to check me. And she's like, well, she's real, like, smart aleck. Like, I just hate to say that, but this is the reality. And she gets her glove. She puts it on. She goes, well, best case scenario, what she say? Like,
yeah, best case scenario, you dilate to 10, you can have the baby right now.
Yeah. And so, first of all, this attitude, but whatever. So she checks me, and she gets her glove on. She checks me, and she's like, well, you're not 4 to 5 centimeters anymore. Like, she looks at the nurse. She goes, I would say 9 centimeters, 100% of face. And, like, I just bust out in tears, and Meyer like jumps. I wish you could. You can't even react because you.
Nah, yeah, I was like low key like falling asleep. I was just tired.
Cause you're tired, yeah. And she said that.
Yeah, I heard it.
Yeah.
And when she said it, I was like, what?
Meyer like jumped up, like he like I will never forget this. Like he just like scored a touchdown, or just somebody on the team made a good play, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like. And then like just. I don't know, that was cool because just to have like a partner that's in tune with you, like, you know what I mean? And like you like, I don't know, for me, I've experienced a miracle by myself, like something where you're just praying and God comes in the nick of time, or some like, you know, breakthrough you've been waiting for by myself. But to experience that with somebody that you love, I feel like that's cool. Like we'll never experience, like we will probably experience that again, but like it's just, I don't know, I just feel really blessed to have that experience like with you. And the whole atmosphere in the hospital room just changed. Like everything that we've been praying for, everything that we've like been working for, like walking, everything is like God, like wow, like it's like He opened up the heavens. I was like, man, this is a miracle. Like Trinity is coming. And from the time she checked me, and she just walked out, like everybody else was amazed.
What's up?
From the time she From the time she walked out to the time From the time she walked out to the time that we had the baby, we're still filming. We're almost done.
I'm your neighbor. I can't even see if y'all had any.
Oh my God!
From the time she walked out to the time I had the baby, how long was that?
30 minutes tops. It's probably like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she told us she's like 9 centimeters.
Yeah.
100% of face.
Yeah.
Yo, like, didn't say like congratulations, good job.
Yeah, the nurses were so excited.
Yeah, she said that
and
walked out through her glove and trash and just boom, never saw her again.
Yeah, but whatever.
Like,
we were just
mad,
yeah, but we were so excited, and one of the nurses was like, wow, let's keep this C-section stuff in here so we can keep this mojo going. And I was like, girl, this is not mojo. This is the power of the Holy Spirit. Like, the atmosphere has shifted. We've been praying for this. There were people praying for me, like me and Myra were praying, and just, oh my gosh, just to see the hand of God. So the new midwife comes in. Well, they have to remove all the C-section stuff. They're like, well, we're preparing for C-section. Now we have to prep the room for a baby. And so the nurse texts me. She's like, okay, I need to let them know when we're about to start pushing. So she texts me. She's like, oh, it's time to start pushing. And so the other midwife comes in. She's like, geek. She's like, wow, what a way to start the shift. And she's so sweet. Her energy is so good. And she's like, what a way to start the shift. And she gets ready, and literally I think I pushed 2 or 3 times, and the baby is born, and she comes out, and they hand her to me, and I'm like so shocked. I'm like, oh my God, we just had a baby. Like, I was just, I don't know, I was almost like, how you say, it was like not real. Like I was like, did this really just happen to me? Like
she came out smiling too.
She did. Like they gave her to me, and she looked at me and she was smiling, almost like she was like, gotcha. Like, you know, got them. Like they thought that, you know, but God, man, but God, and oh my gosh, that was just so amazing. And everybody in the hospital was just talking about it. They were like, oh, congrats on your miracle baby, and like right when we were about to give up. And I like to share my faith story because I think a lot of people feel like because I have such a strong relationship with God that means I'm, what do you say, like my faith is big.
Or always big.
Always big. And it's not true. And I share that part of the story because God can still move mountains. He can still work miracles even if you have like small faith. And Myra's faith is so much bigger than mine, and he's like more positive naturally, or more naturally positive person. Not that I'm negative, like a negative Nancy. That's not me at all. I'm overly a realist, I guess you could say, and it works against me. But anyways, y'all, the experience was so much better. We were out in 24 hours, and I'll do a video about my experience C-section versus a vaginal birth. But one thing I do want to share is like whenever we went to Target, we needed to go to Target like
the day
Wednesday. So I delivered on Monday. We need to go Wednesday because it was the last day of school for my girls in their preschool, and so we went to Target, and we were I got out of the car. I did have a tear, so like that was sore. But a tear and getting sewn up is nothing compared to a C-section. So we're almost done, babe. Don't look so.
Oh no.
We walked in and we were walking across the street, and I was just like,
You started crying.
I did. I was just like, babe, I am walking. Like I was walking 2 days. I'm about to cry again. I was walking 2 days after I gave birth, and then to think that like when I had a C-section, I couldn't even stand up. And so when I was walking into Target, I was just like, man, I'm so grateful that I'm able to walk. And something as simple as walking, I don't know, it put me into tears just knowing that, man, we witnessed a miracle 2 days ago, and God showed up. Despite what the doctors thought, despite what the midwife thought, God showed up and he moved. And because of that, I'm able to walk. So and I still have moments where I'm just in awe of that. And, so yeah, and I do want to say, like, if that's not your story, like if you had to have a C-section, my heart is with you. And because that was about to be me, like, and I had to grieve that, like, even in that moment, I had to grieve the birth that I thought I would have, and so, yes, enjoy the fact, be grateful that your baby is healthy, but I want to say, give yourself space to grieve. And now that I've had a vaginal birth, after having 2 C-sections, I know that there was something to grieve in those last 2 births, because it's just a completely different experience. But if you had to have that C-section, give yourself space to grieve, and heal through that, like emotionally even. And I am praying for you, and I'm there with you. And then if you're planning to have a VBAC after a C-section, 2 C-sections, 3, whatever, I'm with you. And I, like, if you want if you want me to be we'll pray for you, and just tell us your name, your due date below in the comments, and I will literally be praying for you, because I feel like the people that were praying for us made all the difference. And even some of y'all were just saying, hey, I'm praying for you, I'm thinking about you, and that was so helpful. But yeah, that's it. And so I wanted to get on here and record this because you guys have been there on the journey, and I didn't want to just leave you hanging. Sorry to leave you hanging for so long. We're just trying to make it. We got a lot going on. If you want to know how you can support our family, follow our journey, hit subscribe, like this video. We're gonna have so much coming up. We gotta introduce y'all to Trinity. She's so sweet. I'll do that in one of my update videos. But we got a lot going on. In 2 or 3 weeks, we should be finishing up this trailer, moving into a tiny house with 5 kids. Not 5 kids. Oh gosh, 5 people. 5 people. 5 people. And so just follow that journey. But yeah, thank y'all for y'all's prayers and all your support. Sorry for the long video. I had to put the details in. You're shaking your leg. It's making me nervous. But yeah, love y'all. See you in the next video.